moments, but I guess a late push that almost got you guys back into it.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I think the game started in such a great trend that Mass had that shot that was blocked. I don't know if it was on the second minute, and look, it didn't happen. Then the game kind of was weird. It had waves where they took it to us, we took it to them, they took it to us. We had a real opportunity, which for whatever reason we didn't get the penalty. I love to understand how the world works with penalties. Someone has to explain it to me. And then they came down and scored that set piece goal in the 47th minute. You know, you flip that scenario, I think we got a different game. But we have to own it and understand that for whatever reason, we're never going to get a penalty at Halifax. We had 10 penalties last year. This year we have 1. So, you know, I don't know.
Do you maybe have to learn from that a little bit, though, as a team, just when something like that, you know, goes against you to get to happen?
Yeah, for sure, of course, Mitchell. Listen, but they're humans, right? And the only thing that I hear is that the referees are not perfect, and neither are the players. So they have emotions, and it just gets frustrating when there's 3 or 4 scenarios that at home games we don't get. And I think this is probably an aftermath of what happened last year, where there was a lot of penalties given at home, and now we can't simply, you know, I think someone's head has to be cut off to get one. But you're right, absolutely. You got to finish the half, see the game through, and second half, it's funny, you know, they got that goal, which was really disappointing. I mean, very well worked to get the throw in over the head to get the goal, and I thought our subs were great to bring some energy into the game. Dan was fantastic on that goal, and we were getting these little things, but I don't think we manufactured enough for me to say we deserve a tie, given what happened in the first half. So they're a great team, man. Listen, you can't take anything away from them. You know, I thought that the most impressive thing is the travel, because we've done it. So for them to come in here with that energy, I got to give them a lot of credit.
Yeah, you speak about the energy. It seemed like a real great battle in the middle of the park, especially, you know, 2 of the better teams in terms of midfield in the entire league. I guess your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you know, Toussaint and Sean and Manu did great, and I thought our 3 with Callum and Lorenzo and Andre did great. You know, when you lose a game 2-1 and one's off a throw-in, off a cross and a set piece, and you score 1 off a corner, it just tells you how close a game it was. None of the 3 goals were scored from more than 3 passes. So obviously it was a very tight, contested game, and I still think I just looked at the stats. I still think we made like 400 to 500 passes. We had 65% possession, but obviously you expect that being that we're a home team. So it was very good. I mean, as I said, you know, probably one of their strengths is the middle of the park, and they were very, you know, contesting everything, and had a lot of energy to cover ground. So again, a lot of credit goes to them to come in here to try to disrupt us.
And last one for me, obviously you mentioned the players coming off the bench. Jordan making his debut, was very lively there. Your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, it's frightening, man. I thought, you know, given that the little time he's had, and I thought he was fantastic. You know, he had, I think in his first shot he had a touch that went to a corner, and in his second, no, on his third touch, he had that shot that was saved off the line and went wide, and he had that chance that he kind of turned, but you could see his class. So, you know, we're also, again, like the same thing with Daniil and Joao. We're not looking for anyone to come in here and be our, you know, knight and save us. I think we're going the right way. We just need guys to complement us. We've kind of drought in goals a little bit, and I still think we're producing a lot of chances. We're just not getting the goals. So having Jordan will really wrap a very exciting window that we had. So we look forward to see his growth in the rest of the season.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Mitchell.
Thanks, Mitchell. Finally, Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
Hi, Patrice. Obviously not the result you wanted, but moving forward, you know, can you even look at the standings at this point, or are you just focusing on, you know, today's a training day, tomorrow's a match day? How do you?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I think we want to talk about Pacific. We knew that we had a team that's coming here, and statistically, Josh, to go undefeated against a team that's at top 2 and has been at the top of the table for 15 weeks for 4 games is almost impossible. So we had a 2-game undefeated streak against them, and a tie at their place and a win here. So we knew they would come in, but I think we gotta, like you said, take care of business, win the games at home, go get some points away. It's a simple recipe of success. So disappointed to let 3 get away, but you can't feel bad, because when you feel bad, there's a balance between your head and emotions, and your emotions will keep you in bed, and your head's what gets you out of bed and gets you to work. So we got to get to work tomorrow. We have a dangerous Vancouver team coming here. We've struggled against them, so we just got to prepare for the next one. We're tied for the last playoff position. We cannot let this get away from us. We can't be chasing this the last day of the season, so we got to make some strides ASAP.
Fantastic. And just one last question.
Sure.
Dan mentioned when he was at the mic that he and some other defenders had been asked to contribute a little bit more offensively, especially on set pieces. Can you talk about that a little bit and how that paid off today?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have such a spread out team in regard to the scoring. I think Jordan now will bring a point of reference of a 9 that can score goals while Thiago recovers. And when you look at it, we need goals to come across from everyone. A few from Farron, a few from Joao, a few from Fumpa, Aiden. We got to get everybody going. So part of it was set pieces. When you're a team that has so much possession, when you're a team that creates so many touches in the penalty box, you're going to get a lot of corners, and we just needed to be more dangerous in the corners. And I was really happy to see Dan score that. I thought Dan was fantastic and continues to be great. And we had some off performances, but we're young. You look at our U21 minutes, they don't reflect it, but we have a lot of guys that are 21, 22. We 2 weeks ago, we were the youngest team. I think week in, week out, when you go over your roster, as everyone's getting older, we're getting younger, and more young players are taking a role, and that's just the growth that we need. But Dan's been one that doesn't look like he's young. So credit to him, and a good goal for him.
Thank you. That's all for me.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Last call in the room for questions.
Yeah, Patrice, I wanted to ask you, sometimes in a loss, I feel like it's hard to think positively. So
Sure.
I wanted to ask a few good things and a few positive things you saw today.
Yeah, and listen, it's always possible to draw out something positive. Look, we know that we started the game well, we got to get the goals. I thought we didn't pose it, we kept the ball, but we weren't dangerous enough. So the takeaway is, hey, a lot of good movement. It's not easy in this league to make 550 passes. So when you do that, you're doing, you're laying out the foundation of the house, you're building the house, but you got to get the roof in. And the roof is the runs behind, get them the crosses. So I think the positive is the possession. What we need to improve is being more dangerous and get to the goal. I thought, listen, they are a team that leads the league in goals, I believe, and they scored a set piece goal and they scored a goal off a throw-in. So we kept them as controllable as possible, as good as they are. We haven't had a clean sheet against them in all 3 games. So for me, it's a positive is that they didn't score from open play with all the dangerous players they have. So, those are the big ones. And again, I thought Danilo is growing his minutes every day by 5, and they're fantastic. Brought energy, and I don't care who you are. You look at him, you could feel his presence. So that's a big one, and obviously the addition of Jordan Peruzza and Joao's minutes. These are all things that will contribute as we get more and more match fit for the guys that join this league.
And I feel like I've asked you about depth so many times, but I want to ask really how you plan on utilizing it without giving too much away. You want to be consistent in some ways. How do you plan on utilizing all the different players you have now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the best thing we can do is tell everybody, hey, you play center back, there's another center back that's competing with you. So our competition every week will push you to places to get better. And at the same time, maybe this is a game we needed a little bit more energy, and you could feel it off the bench. So, in the last 6-7 games, it is a long season. It's, most of the world plays the sport not in the summer. So the climate is always going to affect you if you feel more fatigued. And now we're about to hit a road trip, we need guys to rotate. So our job is to create competition and based on the opponent, use the different players that we have to, sort of expose their weaknesses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.